With threats to our nation waiting around every corner, adaptability is more important than ever. When conditions change without notice, quick strategic thinking is crucial. And with obstacles consistently impending, determination is essential in overcoming them. It's this willingness, decisiveness, and resilience that sets Marines apart. With our fighting spirit, we don't just fight battles, we win them. Marines are the constant our nation counts on to fight the unknown. And through adaptable problem solving, we do just that. Learn more at marines.com.
We have to look inward. We're looking at the game plan. You're looking at the defense you're going to play, but we need to make a decision with our quarterback, look in the mirror and just figure out exactly how much we want them involved. And I think that's the question that every offensive coach needs to make. Obviously a lot has to do with the type of athlete you have at quarterback, like what can they actually do that's going to help you out in the run game. But then you need to make the decision, like, how much do you want them involved? If you're calling a run play that's a read where he could be the ball carrier, how comfortable are you with that? When you're calling a run play where he is going to be the ball carrier, how comfortable are you with that? And that's a decision that everybody needs to make for themselves.
The quarterback run game is an aspect of the game that can create a strategic advantage on offense by effectively utilizing the quarterback's mobility and decision-making skills. And this approach involves a meticulous balance between incorporating the quarterback into various run schemes while considering the overall offensive game plan. A lot of times it comes down to how much do we really want to or need to use him. Today we share a segment from national champion offensive coordinator Patrick Rotchford and his clinic presentation at the recent D3 Top 25 Clinic. He takes us through a thought process of how they think about QB run game as well as their use of offset gun to make the QB a dual threat. Coach Rotchford will be presenting at the 4th Annual Lawrence First and Goal Clinic this week. The link to tickets for this event with over 130 college and pro coaches presenting is in the show notes. Here's our clinic segment with Coach Patrick Rotchford, SUNY Cortland. What you see on tape is a direct reflection of what you teach and how you teach. Video is important, but if you don't teach well, you're not going to like what you see on your video. First Down Playbook has been helping coaches teach better for 13 years. It allows you to present installs, playbooks, and practice cards in half the time with NFL quality. Coaching tools like video pairing, a player app, practice schedules, and wristband sheets have made First Down Playbook a program management system with everything in one place. If you're in a position of leadership with your football program, receive a free 1-week look at First Down Playbook. Call them at 512-814-6158 or visit them on their website or social media. Mention Coach and Coordinator Podcast or use the coupon code COACH24 to receive a $100 discount off the normal $700 First Down Playbook team membership price. Links and the phone number are in the show notes. As coaches, we know that some of the biggest hurdles to our team's success can come from off the field. Your team needs support to tackle the endless list of expenses, uniforms, training equipment, travel, and more. But raising that money can feel like a full-time job. Thankfully, there's Vertical Raise. Vertical Raise is the premier online fundraising platform using innovative technology to create the easiest and most efficient system available. Raise more money in less time with a local fundraising coach who works with your team every step of the way to customize the ideal fundraiser. With options for online donations, digital discount cards, premium product sales, and even spirit shops, Vertical Raise has top-of-the-line solutions for every fundraising style. To find out more, visit verticalraise.com and we'll get you connected with an exclusive offer on your first fundraiser.
Really appreciate this opportunity. When Coach Grabowski reached out, it's kind of a full circle moment for me to be able to present coming off of a storybook season for us. But I was just talking to Coach before we got on here. He had an X&O Labs article about a slash concept back in 2010 or 2011. It was something that, as a young coordinator, was one of the first deep dives of something online I did and ended up installing it and something that we had success with the following year. So appreciate Coach Grabowski and this opportunity. It's an incredible honor to represent SUNY Cortland, our coaching staff, Coach Fitz, the man behind it all. But, our coaching staff all of our players, the university, a tremendous university that honestly is a huge reason why we had the success we had this past year. They give us every opportunity to have success, and it's an honor to represent SUNY Cortland and our coaching staff. I'll just jump right into it at this point. So I'm going to be talking on using your quarterback in the run game today, which, when I had an opportunity to present here, and then Coach Luce at Lawrence First and Goal asked me to present there, I wanted to do something that was a little bit more, I can get into and recycle a few gap scheme presentations, gap scheme clinics, or pin and pull or pass protection, pass pro techniques and all that. But I wanted to do something a little bit more fun, a little bit more kind of whole overarching offensively, not just the nitty gritty of O-line play. I love my guys, but we had some tremendous athletes on offense, this past year. So highlighting some of the things that we do, that I think we do pretty well offensively, but also kind of touching on every aspect of in the run game, using the quarterback, different schemes that we do run. So you can see on the screen here, we're coming off a tremendously successful year, due in part to, I think Coach Fitz and I, we do a great job working together to make sure we have a cohesive plan every week. Run game matches with what our pass plan is, some RPO concepts to marry the two, but also just highlighting our very best players. And, anybody that watched us play this year knows we had two of the best wide receivers in the country. And, as a coordinator or as a play caller or as an offensive coach in general, just having one of those types of players as a receiver can be a game changer for you and create some special opportunities to scheme some things up. But to have two of them was a lot of fun. So they created a lot of opportunities for us. And then having Zach at quarterback, one of the best signal callers in the country, certainly did not hurt as well. So you can see some of the statistics there: points per game, yards per game. I think that was top 10 in the country in both of those. You can see the rushing and passing too. And I just want to give a little context as to, once I get into the clinic here, a little context of what our offense was as a whole. You can see the rushing stats there and the passing stats. We're pretty balanced. Actual plays called, we're about 70% run. So what the O-line gets as a play call, we're about a 70% run, 30% pass. Then what actually happens, the result of the play, whether the ball gets handed off or the ball gets thrown, with some, run screen options or run pass options. And we're right around 54% run, 50 or 46% pass. So more balanced. It's crazy. We always, Coach Fitz in the offseason, he does this statistics, and our percentages run pass, yards per game, rushing, passing, it's pretty similar. It ends up almost pretty similar every year, which is crazy. It's a testament to us building the offense to be balanced and to be able to attack a defense in different ways. I'm going to talk specifically today about using your quarterback in the run game. And it's not just quarterback runs. I'm going to talk a lot about our philosophy with the offset gun today. So not just quarterback runs, but using the quarterback in the run game. And everybody knows when you can use your quarterback, the adage, you're adding a gap, or you're, creating, balancing out the numbers or adding a numbers advantage. So we obviously try to do that. Our quarterbacks the last few years and historically, over, Coach Fitz and I have been together now for 10 years across two different schools. We haven't always had a quarterback who was as athletic or physically gifted, as like Zach was this year or Brees Segala was in 2021. But we always try to use the quarterback to create an advantage at times, or use them in the run game. So you can see the success we had, using our quarterback in the run game this year, just under 900 rushing yards on the season, right around 60 yards a game, 5.5 yards a carry. And now that number obviously will be, these numbers include some scrambles, so drop back pass, scrambles, and it also includes some sacks to add some negative yardage as well. But the average yard per carry for a quarterback was just a tick above our average as a whole. I think for the season, we were right around 5.3, 5.4 yards a carry. So when the quarterback was carrying the ball, it was a little bit higher than our average for the season. And then, the last one there, we had our quarterback Zach accounted for 3 100-yard rushing games this year. The two biggest being in the Cortland game. He was a big part of our run plan. And then in the national championship game against North Central, they have a tremendous team. I think he had over 125, maybe 130. So, those usually happen in the biggest games because they're the best defenses. So every week when we get into game planning, we have to look inward. We're looking at the game plan. You're looking at the defense you're going to play. But we need to make a decision with our quarterback, look in the mirror, and just figure out exactly how much we want them involved. And I think that's the question that every offensive coach needs to make. Obviously, a lot of it has to do with the type of athlete you have at quarterback. Like, what can they actually do? That's going to help you out in the run game. But then you need to make the decision, like, how much do you want them involved? If you're calling a run play that's a read where he could be the ball carrier, how comfortable are you with that? When you're calling a run play where he is going to be the ball carrier, how comfortable are you with that? And that's a decision that everybody needs to make for themselves. So that's something that each week, we look at. A lot of that has to do with the health. Different quarterback's a lot different than every position. Running back gets gas, you can platoon that position a little bit. You're not really going to do that at the quarterback position. The next thing we always think about is, do we need to run the quarterback? Is there this gets into, why our quarterbacks usually have more rushing yards, in the biggest games. When we look at a defense, we need to make an honest, we need to think honestly about it. Like, do we need him to account for a gap in order to gain yards efficiently to stay on schedule? And it's, with all respect to all of our opponents, we look at game plans sometimes, and we don't necessarily need to run the quarterback a ton in this game. We think based on the defenses we're going to see, the safety structures, we're not going to necessarily need to use the quarterback a ton. And then there's other times you're watching the film and you're playing in the run game, and whatever the reason may be, you're thinking, like, especially that last bullet point there, goal line, short yardage, in the biggest spots. We might need the quarterback in certain situations in order to be as efficient as we need to be to stay on schedule, number one, but also gain those tough yards, third and short, goal line, red zone. The other thing we always do each week is, and this is very, very important for us as we go week to week and we're doing our game plan, we're looking at the defense, is what are our gun tendencies? And not just what are our tendencies, what do we think a defense could do based on where our back is offset, and that's important. And when I get into some of our quarterback run, that plays a huge role for us. When we scheme some quarterback run type plays, they might be tendency breakers. They might be a situation where we know we can get the ball on the perimeter a little bit easier because of some of our tendencies. So that's something we will always look at as well. How do we actually do it? So these are the things I'm going to talk about today. I broke it down in basically two different categories. We have our quarterback read runs, where the quarterback is in a mesh. He could make a decision to give the ball or keep the ball on that play. And the first bullet point there is a mesh read. And this happens on every single run play. We call a tight zone. We call wide zone. We're calling power. It doesn't really matter for us. The quarterback always has the ability to mesh. And if there's a player off the edge or somebody unblocked that is going to tackle the running back, he is empowered to pull the ball and try to gain as many yards as possible. Now, he will, and we'll get into the film, I'll kind of talk through some of those specific situations. Our quarterbacks will know the exact situations where they have to read a guy. We're running a 10 personnel tight zone, C-gap players unaccounted for. He has to read that guy. Or situations where we might not necessarily need him to read somebody. We have players blocked up, but if they want to fit a run play a certain way, or it's a 3-4 that wants to fold their backside outside linebacker fast, and he's got a ton of green grass off the backside, we give him the opportunity to green grass pull to gain chunks of yards as well. So mesh read is something that's very important to our offense. From there, we have, which was big for us this past season, a lot of spread teams that have a dual threat quarterback are running bash reads now. That was big for us. And then power read, which we've incorporated a lot over the last 5 or 6 years. Power read can be tough for a defense to defend as well. And then from there, we have our quarterback run tags, where it's whatever the formation is, we can get an 11 personnel, call quarterback ISO, use the running back as the lead ISO back and gain a numbers advantage that way. And some of our quarterback run tags, we have, our quarterback ISO, a couple versions of quarterback counter, quarterback draw, which is big for us, second and long, third and long. And then it's not necessarily a quarterback tag, but we have a running back fast motion where it's implied that the quarterback is the primary ball carrier, and the running back fast motion, it's a bubble read for our quarterback. If he has leverage, he can make that throw. So those are things I'm going to talk about today. So from there, I just want to talk about offset gun and why we think offset gun is important for our offense, why it's a core part of our philosophy. I think there's a comfort level being from the gun. I remember as a first-time coordinator, we did some stuff from under center. We did some stuff from the gun. It was a there was a ton of different footwork. You did 3-step drop, 5-step drop from under center. You had your different handoff paths from the gun. It definitely simplifies a lot of that. And there's a comfort level to, I'm in the gun, I know which side, and we shift the running back on every single play. So he starts in the pistol and he shifts to his proper alignment. But when the quarterback is in the gun, he can see or feel where the running back is. There's a comfort level that he knows that him and the running back are on the same page, the quarterback and the running back are on the same page. We're going to be able to execute the play as effectively and efficiently as possible. Obviously, some of the no-brainer stuff, being in the gun increases your pre and post-snap vision, gets you away, gives you better perspective to see the defense. Now, it does create tendencies which can cause problems at times, especially some defensive coordinators. They get really good things schemed up for the mesh side or for the bear side, whatever it might be. It creates tendencies, but also for us, we can use that to our advantage. If we know what our tendencies are, we can at times know how a defense might want to play certain gun tendencies, and we can use that to our advantage to create, whether it's quarterback runs or getting the ball on the perimeter with ease. And then the last thing there, which I touched about, and we'll get into some film next. You can mesh read on every single run. Like I said, our quarterback, you never have to hand the ball off to a dude coming off the backside edge, screaming down the line who's going to tackle the running back. You never have to hand that off. You always have the ability to pull off an unblocked guy and try to gain some yards. So that keeps us out of some potential negative plays. And we're not going to run power where we're going to hand the ball off. We're not going to same side handoff power. We want to be, if they bring the backside in. Now, there are certain times where we're going to be able to gap seal the backside tackle and account for backside edge pressure, but there are also times where we don't need to have the tackle gap seal because we know we can account for that guy. He can stay on an end as he squeezes or whatever it might be.
Here are our winning edge takeaways and ideas for implementation. 1. Evaluate the quarterback's athletic abilities and determine how they can contribute effectively to the run game. Consider factors such as speed and agility, decision-making, and running ability to maximize the quarterback's impact on the ground. 2. Assess the game situation and opponent's defense to determine when and how much to involve the quarterback in the run game. Make strategic decisions based on the need for additional yardage, maintaining efficiency, and exploiting defensive tendencies. 3. Utilize various quarterback run concepts like mesh reads, bash reads, power reads, and quarterback run tags to diversify the offensive playbook. Incorporate these plays based on your team's strengths, tendencies, and the defense's reaction to create a dynamic and unpredictable run game with the quarterback. Be sure to follow all we're doing at coachandcoordinator.com. Sign up for Lauren's First and Goal Clinic, which begins this Thursday with 130 coaches from the college and pro levels. Remember, all proceeds go to fund pediatric brain tumor research and cancer services. Be sure to sign up for our weekly tip sheet, which shares the best ideas from each week, and follow us on Twitter at Coach K. Grabowski.